So, we meet again. Hey guys, we're going to get started at the usual time, which is 2 o'clock East Coast time. Hi, Danny. Thanks for coming. I'll say hi to everybody who's coming in, and like the Corley kids, as always. And here's to you, the Corley kids. And Javen and Johan, always here. Hey, Winona. How you doing? Lucy from New Jersey has not missed a day, and neither have I. Gianluca and Matteo and Lainey. Hi, Lainey. So glad you could make it. Naomi and Casey from California are here. And so is Braden and Michaela in Georgia. New Jersey is represented by Lyra. Virginia is represented by Ian and Erica. India is represented by Srikar. Hi, Srikar. Virginia also represented by Phoenix, and Max represents Montana for us. Pennsylvania is represented by Lucas and Connor. Hi, Sophia. And Turkey, the country of Turkey, is represented by Kanan. California represented by Caden and Raywin. New Jersey, again by, oops, missed that one, sorry. Bennett and Billy and Liam and Amelia have not missed a day. Thank you. Will's here from Pennsylvania. Hey, Ben. So glad you could all make it. Cooper and Griffin, hi. Charlotte and Holden from Georgia. There's over 100 of us now in the room. Call your friends, Patrick and Alex. You got some friends you can call up. Nina in Connecticut. Call your friends, your cousins, Mallory, AJ and Morgan. Your enemy, your worst enemies. Call them up. Get them in here. Aaron and Eden and Ted in Michigan is here. Hey, you guys. Maria's in Texas, representing Texas. Yay, Texas and Florida. Tizra and Cam. Grant in Virginia. We're going to get started, by the way, in about 3 minutes. Aiden and Ariana in New Jersey. Jim. Hi, Jim. How you doing? Win is here. Win. Okay, the drum video. That's cool. I'm gonna post that at some point. Win. Thank you. Ben is here, and Molly. Marcus. Hey, Marcus. Glad you could all make it. Tyler in New York. It's a beautiful day today in New York. I hope it's good where you are in Ohio, Tavian. And Amber. Hi, Amber. Molly and Teddy. Okay, how many minutes we got to go? We got about 2 minutes to go. Rishi. Jackson in Camarillo, Zachary, Sandy, Shannon, and Stacy, Maddox and Matt in Marion, Indiana, and 4 people in Iowa, CJ and the gang, John V's in New Jersey. Leanne, hey Leanne. Haley and Liliana in Paradise, California. Great. We got less than 2 minutes now. Okay, hi Sabrina. I see those letters you're posting there. Nicholas in Minnesota. Okay, and how are you doing today, Dan? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. In Canada, we got some Canadians here. Kaylin in Connecticut. Alex and Antonella from New York State somewhere. Alexa and James from New York. I hope I didn't turn on a bunch of Alexas right there. John V in New Jersey. Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Isla and Ellie are here from Goshen. Okay, we got about 1 minute to go. Sophia, hi. Maddie and Olivia. Okay. Tatiana, hi. The Phillips Band from Alabama. Thanks for coming. Noah, Ella, Mia, and Alma. Trupp, Leah, and Danny. Hi. I'm glad you're enjoying the new book. Tatiana, we got about a half a minute to go before we get started, before go time. Peter and Ben, hi. Aiden and Lily. And Maddie, hi. Got 148 of us. Okay, we got about 20 seconds before we're going to get started. Carter Mitchell from Illinois. All right, Michael from Summit, New Jersey. Okay, I'm going to have to stop looking at this. Kansu from Turkey, because we have 10 seconds to go. I'm sorry, I have to stop looking at your names and get to work. Sorry about that. But we got 6 seconds, 5. It's go time, baby. Hi, Dan Gutman here. I am the guy who writes the My Weird School series. and lots of other books for kids too. And welcome to number 97 out of 100 in my weird read aloud. And I wanted to mention, I know a lot of you had some technical issues yesterday. I got a bunch of messages from people saying the screen was paused, it was frozen, they didn't know what to do. I looked it over, and when I watched the recorded version, everything was fine. So if you're having any troubles with pausing or technical issues, just wait a half an hour until I'm finished, then you can watch the recorded version, and that one seems to be fine. Okay? So anyway, our book of the week is Mrs. Bacon is Fakin'. And as you know, the reason why I'm showing it to you on my computer screen rather than the book itself is because the book itself does not exist yet. Okay? This book, you can pre-order it, but the book itself will not be coming out until October 20th. So you'll have to wait a while for that. And so this is the only copy in the world. So na boo-boo on you. But you get to hear it right in here. Okay? So as you know, Mrs. Bacon is the band teacher at the school. And so this year the kids get to learn to play a musical instrument. Okay? And AJ picks the tuba. So far they're terrible. Okay? They're just starting out. They're really horrible. They sound like those geese that are honking in the playground. But Mrs. Bacon is going to try and teach them how to read music. She tried that actually, and she failed miserably. But that's where we left off yesterday. And now we're going to pick up on chapter 5, which is titled, what's it titled? It's titled, The Greatest Song in the World. Okay? You guys ready? Gather around your big screen TVs, your laptops, your tablets, your smartphones, whatever it is you're watching me on. Let's get started. The greatest song in the world. The next Thursday, I got to school early, so I went around to the playground to look at the geese. And you'll never believe what I saw out there. More geese! There were 8 of them. It was creepy. Where were all these geese coming from? Canada, I guess. And here's Jim's picture of AJ in the playground with all those geese. They're multiplying. And I didn't even know that geese could do math. Okay, all right. The bell rang and I went inside the school. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. All the grown-ups were wearing earmuffs. Mrs. Rupee, our librarian, was wearing earmuffs. Mr. Docker, our science teacher, was wearing earmuffs. Mrs. Cooney, our nurse, was wearing earmuffs. Why are you wearing earmuffs? I asked Mrs. Cooney. I'm chilly, she replied. When I got to class, an announcement came over the loudspeaker. 3rd graders can pick up their instruments today in the band room, and teachers who would like to purchase noise-canceling headphones can get them in the front office. After we pledged the allegiance, we went to room 303. Our instruments were lined up waiting for us. Ryan got his French horn. Michael got his trumpet. Andrea got her clarinet. Emily got her flute. Alexia got her trombone. Neil got his drum. I got my tuba. It was cool. And here's a picture of a few of the kids with their instruments. Are we going to learn more about reading? Oh, sorry, I got to use my Andrea voice. Are we going to learn more about reading music today? Asked Andrea. No, said Mrs. Bacon. I think reading music is a little bit advanced for some students. Our first recital is in 3 weeks, so I've decided to teach you how to play by ear. What? How was I supposed to play a tuba with my ears? Can't I use my mouth instead, I asked. Everybody laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Mrs. Bacon told us to take the mouthpiece off our instrument so we could learn how to blow into it the right way. She showed each of us how to do it. Now blow, she said. And here's a picture of 4 of the kids who have wind instruments about to blow into their mouthpieces. We blew into our mouthpieces. It was an awful sound. Cheeks and leeks make squeaks, said Mrs. Bacon. Try again. It was still pretty horrible, but a little better. We did it a few more times. After we started getting the hang of it, Mrs. Bacon said it was time to try our first song. We put the mouthpieces back on our instruments. This is one of my favorites, Mrs. Bacon said, getting some paper out of her desk. It's called Hot Cross Buns. I'm going to pass out. She's going to pass out, shouted Ryan. Call an ambulance, I shouted. I'm going to pass out a piece of paper to each of you, said Mrs. Bacon. Oh, the paper had the words to Hot Cross Buns on it. It goes like this. Hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. What a redorkulous song. Why would anybody make a song about buns? And you're not going to make much money if you sell buns for a penny. The buns must be pretty yucky if you could get them so cheap. We all picked up our instruments. Mrs. Bacon showed each of us how to play Hot Cross Buns. It's easy, she said. There are only 3 notes in the whole song. What? How can a song only have 3 notes? Let's try it, said Mrs. Bacon. Ready? 1, 2, 3. She waved her chopstick around, and we all tried to play the 3 notes. It was awful. No, no, shouted Mrs. Bacon, holding her ears. Try again. She waved her chopstick again, and we all played. It was horrible. No, no, shouted Mrs. Bacon. You're not getting it. I want you to feel the hot cross buns. Try again. She waved her chopstick, and we played. It was terrible. No, Mrs. Bacon yelled. You sound like those geese out in the playground. She was right. We did sound a little like honking geese. I think I'm getting a headache, said Mrs. Bacon. Take 5, everybody. 5 what? I asked. That means take a 5-minute break, dumbhead, Andrea told me. Mrs. Bacon went to get aspirin. I was going to say something mean to Andrea, but instead I did what I always do when the teacher leaves the room. I climbed up on my desk and shook my butt at the class. Stop fooling around, Arlo, said Andrea. You'll get in trouble. Andrea didn't have the chance to finish her sentence because Michael snuck up behind her and blasted his trumpet right in her ear. Andrea freaked out and fell off her chair. It was hilarious. And you'll never believe who walked into the room at that moment. It was Mr. Klutz. And here's a picture of Mr. Klutz walking into the room after AJ has, I'm sorry, you know what happened. Okay. All right. I climbed down from my desk. That's when Mrs. Bacon came back into the room. Mr. Klutz, she said, to what do we owe the pleasure of your company? That's grown-up talk for, what are you doing here? Oh, I just wanted to see how the students were making out with their instruments, Mr. Klutz replied. Gross, we all shouted. We're not making out with our instruments. Mr. Klutz walked over to me. Ah, yes, he said. This brings back memories. I played the tuba once, you know. Just once, I asked? I guess you weren't very good. Mr. Klutz told us he played the tuba in his college marching band. For fun, he said, he would stick his head in the tuba and have his friends blow into it. It made a funny sound because his bald head made a tight seal against the horn. Can you show us? Asked Ryan. Sure, said Mr. Klutz. Watch this. He stuck his head inside my tuba. "Okay," Mr. Klutz said. "Blow." I blew into my tuba. It made a hilarious sound. Everybody laughed, even Mrs. Bacon. "Wait a minute," said Mr. Klutz. "I think my head may be stuck." It was true. I guess his head was bigger than it was during his college days. "Mr. Klutz's head is stuck in the tuba," shouted Neil. "Help!" shouted Mr. Klutz. "Get me out of here!" Everybody rushed over to help. And you'll never believe who walked into the room at that moment. It was Dr. Carbles, the president of the Board of Education. "Klutz!" he shouted. "Get your head out of that tuba! What's the meaning of this?" And here's a picture of Dr. Carbles screaming at Mr. Klutz to get his head out of the tuba. What's the meaning of this? Wait a minute. Sorry. I was going to give Dr. Carbles a dictionary so he could look up the meaning of this. But that's when Mr. Klutz yanked his head out of the tuba. "Ouch!" he shouted. "I was just showing the students..." But he didn't have the chance to finish his sentence. "I'm not paying you to stick your head into a tuba, Klutz!" thundered Dr. Carbles. But, said Mr. Klutz. We all giggled because Mr. Klutz said but, which sounds just like but only has one T. "And you," shouted Dr. Carbles as he pointed at Mrs. Bacon. "I'm not paying you to wave a stick around while these kids make horrible honking noises. I'll be at your recital in 3 weeks. If it's as bad as this, you'll be fired." All right, that's the end of chapter 5. You guys ready for chapter 6, which is titled, Musicians Are Gross. All right, here we go. Musicians are gross. "Let's talk about spit," Mrs. Bacon said as we took our seats the next Thursday. "Well, that's a weird way to start class." Mrs. Bacon told us that when you blow into a mouthpiece, some of your saliva gets inside it. She said that brass instruments like trumpets, trombones, and tubas have this thing called a spit valve. Every so often you need to open it to blow the spit out of your instrument. Mrs. Bacon took Alexia's trombone and showed her the spit valve. Then she told us to find the spit valve on our instruments. I looked all over my tuba until I found the spit valve. I pushed it and some spit dripped out. "Hey, look," I announced, "my tuba is peeing." And here's a picture of AJ opening the spit valve to his tuba. Everybody thought that was hilarious. Well, everybody except Andrea, of course. "That's disgusting, Arlo," she said. "Why don't you take your tuba to the boys' room and empty your spit there?" Not a bad idea. Going to the bathroom is a great way to get out of class. That's the first rule of being a kid. "Can I go to the bathroom?" I asked Mrs. Bacon. "I hope so," she replied. "If you can't, you should go to a doctor." Oh yeah, I always forget. Grown-ups don't like it when you say, "Can I go to the bathroom?" Nobody knows why. We're supposed to say, "May I go to the bathroom?" "May I go to the bathroom?" I asked. "Certainly," replied Mrs. Bacon. I walked down the hall to the boys' room. It wasn't easy getting into the stall with my tuba, but I did it. I found the spit valve and opened it. Then I blew into the mouthpiece. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. My mouthpiece fell in the toilet bowl. No! I thought I was going to die. This was the worst thing that happened since National Poetry Month. I wanted to run away to Antarctica and live with the penguins. I didn't know what to say. Oh, wait, let me show you the picture first. Here's AJ in a stall with his tuba and the toilet. Okay, where was I? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. Room 303. I need your help, I whispered to Ryan. I dropped my tuba mouthpiece into the toilet bowl. Dude, I'm not sticking my hand in a toilet bowl, Ryan replied. Me neither, I said. What should I do? You got to tell Mrs. Bacon, Ryan said. I raised my hand. Is something wrong, AJ? Mrs. Bacon asked. I just had a bathroom emergency, I told her. Oh dear, said Mrs. Bacon. Should I call the nurse? You'd better call the custodian, said Ryan. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. You'll never believe who came into room 303 at that moment. It was our custodian, Miss Lazar. She was riding an electric scooter and carrying a toilet bowl plunger. Miss Lazar is like a real superhero. Anytime something goes wrong, she saves the day. She can clean up any mess and fix anything that breaks. She's the only one in the school who could turn on the lights in the all-purpose room because she has a special key. It is I, Super Custodian, Miss Lazar announced. Anytime somebody loses a retainer in the garbage can or a student throws up in the cafeteria, I'm at your service. What happened? There seems to be a situation in the boys' bathroom, Mrs. Bacon told her. A situation? Said Miss Lazar. I love situations. You can count on me. She scooted down the hall to the boys' room. Here's Jim's picture of Miss Lazar scooting down the hall with her toilet bowl plunger. I followed her, telling her exactly what happened. When we got to the bathroom, she took a yellow rubber glove out of her pocket and put it on. I'm really sorry, I told Miss Lazar as she stuck her hand into the toilet bowl. No worries, she said cheerfully as she fished around in there. I love it when kids drop things into toilet bowls. If kids didn't drop things into toilet bowls, I wouldn't have a job. In fact, I wish kids would drop more things into toilet bowls. Miss Lazar is bizarre. Got it, she said, pulling out my mouthpiece. We washed it off in the sink. It's clean as a whistle, she said, which makes no sense at all because whistles are full of spit too. When we got back to room 303, I told everybody what happened. Hooray for Miss Lazar! Everybody shouted. She hopped back on her scooter. It's all in a day's work, she said. Well, I have to go mop up the cafeteria. Duty calls. Then she scooted out of the room. We all giggled because Miss Lazar said duty, which sounds just like duty. It's okay to say duty, but we're not supposed to say duty. Nobody knows why. If you ask me, those things should have different sounding names. When class was over, Mrs. Bacon pulled me aside. AJ, she said, you didn't have to go to the bathroom to empty your spit valve. I didn't? Of course not, she told me. Professional musicians don't go to the bathroom every time they have to empty their spit valve. What do? I asked. They just empty it on the floor, said Mrs. Bacon. Ugh, disgusting. Professional musicians are gross. All right, well, that's the end of chapter 6. We're going to pick up tomorrow with chapter 7, which is titled Feeling the Buns. But before we go, I just want to remind all of you about the big goodbye party on Saturday at 2 o'clock East Coast time. I hope you'll join me for number 100, our last My Weird Read Aloud. And think of a bunch of questions to ask, okay? Because write them down, and I will answer them live on Saturday. Did I say Sunday? Saturday, 2 o'clock, okay? All right, so how about our joke of the day? You ready for the joke of the day? It's about music, of course. All right. How do you fix a broken tuba? Huh? How do you fix a broken tuba? With a tuba glue. Get it? All right, you don't like that one? I got another one. How about this one? I keep hearing music. I keep hearing music coming out of my computer printer. I think the paper is jamming. Get it? Paper jamming? All right, okay, forget about it. Let's thank Josh Salzman and Ryan Cunningham for our theme song. And it's time for you guys to get off the couch, stop staring at screens, and you know what we all do, right? This is what we do. Do it with me. And man, oh man, is that man nuts?
My weird school, a million hundred hours long. My weird school, where normal things do not belong. My weird school, where art is cool, and the teachers are strange as a rule. And my weird school, oh yeah, it's my weird school.
All right, you guys, see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. And remember, until then, read like crazy and wash your hands like crazy too. Bye.